Good evening, everyone. May I request the participants to Dr. Pallav? Dr. Pallav, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Hello, everyone. Please, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Thank you. All right, so good evening, everyone. We'll start with the webinar. Thank you for joining in for today's Zyirn webinar event. Before we begin with the webinar, I would request everyone to please keep yourself on mute and turn off your video if possible. We just want to make sure that all of our participants do not get disturbed with any kind of background noises. So I request everyone to please go on mute. At the end of the webinar, we will have interactive discussion session. So that's the point when you will unmute yourselves and participate in the discussion at the end of the webinar. But for now, please mute yourselves. You can put in your queries. If you have any queries during the course of the webinar, please put in your queries in the chat box on Zoom. For those of you who have participated. For those who are on YouTube, I request you to put your queries on YouTube chat box, and we will address those queries at the end of the webinar session. Dr. Kannan, next slide, please. So today's webinar topic is on biostimulants new regulations in India. By our expert agriculture and regulatory affairs consultant, Dr. Ponchami Karnan. Dr. Karnan has over 30 years of experience in domestic and international agri-business operations, mainly in the areas of facilitating international seed trials, agri-business management, and regulatory compliance for biotech crops, product testing in international markets, and facilitate technology transfer in agri-biotech field. He has a profound experience of over 30 years in agrochemical based sector, and he has been advisory consultant to many of our national and international agro-based companies. Now, with apparent effects of climate change affecting the plant growth and crop yields, new technology becomes more of a necessity to sustain agricultural production. And one of such modern areas of agricultural, solutions is the application of biostimulants. The global biostimulants market is projected to grow from the current $3.4 billion in 2022 to $7 billion in 2030 at a CAGR of 12%. This is the forecast for the period of 2022 to 2030. The current recognition of biostimulants as a new category of products is recently been announced in Fertilizer of products in the Fertilizer Amendment Order 2021, which was published on February 23, 2021. That clearly defines regulations for the registration of biostimulants. And in today's webinar, we will discuss about regulations laid out by the Government of India through this Gazette order. Dr. Kannan, next slide, please.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So before we start with the webinar, I would like to give you a very quick introduction about who we are and what we do at Zyirn Research Consultancy Services. We are a group of more than 20 industry experienced consultants with from multidisciplinary backgrounds, and we provide end-to-end research solutions for preclinical business needs. And we have provided services in the area of, lab design, animal research facility design, LFI accreditation, and have supported many of our international clients in areas of medical device testing and toxicological screening of molecules. And we have some ongoing projects in the areas of agrochemical testing and regulatory services and medical testing and regulatory services. Next slide, please, Dr. Karan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to give you a nutshell about our services that we provide at Zyirn, we kind of provide services in the area of preclinical R&D, lab design, animal research facility design, pharmacology and toxicology testing and consulting services. We provide, strategic consulting in the area of medical device testing and agrochemical testing, along with regulatory services, documentation support. The new introductions that we have in our portfolio are in the area of vaccine research and vaccine development and product quality systems and regulatory affairs for the product quality systems. Our clients are mainly pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, biotech companies, CROs, and agrochemical companies. Next slide, please, Dr. Karan. Right, just to give a quick introduction about the management, we have Dr. Imran Khan, who has over 20 years of experience in preclinical toxicology and safety assessment. He is experienced professional in pharmaceutical drug discovery and development, as well as in medical device safety evaluation regulatory submissions. And myself, I'm Ms. Nimisha Sharma. I have more than 20 years of experience in profiling of new chemical entities in therapeutic areas of diabetes, obesity, and cancer research in the preclinical screening, both in vitro as well as in vivo models. And experienced like in pharmaceutical drug discovery and development process, been instrumental in IND filing of two drug targets, which are currently in phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. At Zyirn, I handle the portfolio for business management. So you will see me quite often, interacting with you guys for your business needs. Next slide, please, Dr. Kaman.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, and with that introduction given, I would give the lead to Dr. Karnan to start with the webinar for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimisha. Thank you for the brief introduction about myself and our consultancy, what all the services we are providing to the clients. Thank you once again. Good evening to all of you, and thank you for joining this webinar and welcome you all. As I introduced by Nimisha, I am Dr. Kannan. I have almost 30 years of experience in different disciplines of agriculture. And I thought this is a new development in India. We thought we will share it, what is the regulations it is laid out by the government of India, so that it will be useful for all the stakeholders. So what are the topics we are going to cover is what is the general introduction about the biostimulants, and what are all the few concerns, what is the necessity to regulate the biostimulants, that is a major one. Then initiation of regulating the development in Indian context, when the government of India has started the regulating the biostimulants, and the new regulations, it came through Gazette order. We will discuss about the Gazette order, what are all the components of the Gazette order, and what is the highlights in the order about the biostimulants, and how this Gazette has defined the biostimulants, and what are all the different categories of biostimulants, and what could be the effect of biostimulants on overall plant growth. And another critical one is what is the data requirement. This is a critical one, and it needs to be supported by different studies, which we will see in detail. And what is the constitution of central biostimulant? They are the nodal body to define what is biostimulant, and they will be the authorized one to take the registration and everything, and they are the recommendation to central government. and what would be the role of the Central Biostimulant Committee, and what is the advantages of having these new regulations, and also what is the global positions of biostimulants. Okay. And already Nimisha has told that the biostimulant market, it is growing. The compounded annual growth rate is almost 12%. So more than double digit growth is considered to be a very good one. And the Indian biostimulant market is around 50.4. It is growing very well the past few years. And the global biostimulant market 2008, it was 2.24 billion US dollar, and it is expected to grow almost double in 2026. It is almost is expected around 5.69 billion dollars. So the major market for biostimulants is Europe, followed by North America, then Latin America, then Asia Pacific, then Middle East and Africa. And different categories of biostimulants. Out of that, the humic substances have a major component of a biostimulant. It's almost 35%. It is dominated by humic substance, followed by vitamins, amino acids, then microbial amendments, and the seaweed extract. The seaweed extract also is becoming one of the major component of the biostimulants. So what is biostimulants? A brief. The biostimulants are unique. It is environmentally friendly and have a potential to substantially increase crop yields by enhancing nutrient uptake and metabolic. Well, in nutshell, it should be overall, it should be the well-being of the plant. It should give that effect to that one. And during the past, it is very difficult to categorize whether it is a biofertilizers or as a pesticides. Okay, this was so. India is the only few countries globally to define a separate regulations. The European Union has come with regulations for biostimulants, and US also have a regulation this one, but we are more aligned with the European Union regulations. Okay, and this has made biostimulant as per this new order, which was released through a Gazette order on February 23rd, 2021. This biostimulant is made as a new category. This is coming under fertilizer control order. It is not coming under pesticides, or it is not coming under other thing. It is coming under fertilizer one. So what are the key drivers for this biostimulant market? Everybody is talking about biostimulants. So if you could have been in the market, you know, a lot of things it is happening for that. A lot of, people has asked about how to register it, how to bring a new product into that. During the past, it used to be almost kind of no regulations for bringing and selling it. Most of the biostimulants are imported from a neighboring country. They simply change the label and they market it. It doesn't have a much information about the compositions and everything. Nothing it used to be there. So this is the one. This was happening. Now government is supporting towards the high quality production. Why we need to have a quality production? There are a lot of constraints to grow the crop now. There is arable land is shrinking. There is a climatic changes happening all over the globe. All in a sudden, there is a huge rain, or there is no rain, or uneven rainfall. It is happening, and the soil salinization. It is happening due to the inward water of the sea water, and also there is a lot of abatic stress, like a heat stress, unusual heats. It's happening, and also pest and diseases outbreak. These are all the major constraints every country we are facing to produce the food grains. Okay, so and what is the advantages of using these biostimulants? It is a non-toxic and low ecological emissions. Why? Because of it is not toxic. It is mostly because of seaweed extract, or it is natural chemicals or something. It is there is no pesticide or any ingredient of pesticide. It is in the biostimulant. So it is considered to be a non-toxic, and ecologically it is advantageous to that. And what could be the key challenges? Because if the farmer is facing any low product, it means low quality product of biostimulants, definitely he is not going to come back to you for buying the biostimulant once again. Because during the past, lot of biostimulants, this was spurious. Most of the one it was spurious, and it is laced with the pesticides. The farmers were exorbitant claims like 100%, 200% yield increase, like that it was there. So the farmers have suffered without having any regulations on that. And also, farmers do not have a much awareness about the biostimulants. Normally, biostimulants are mostly used, in general, mostly used for horticultural crops because where the quality is one of the parameter for the remuneration, and not like other field crops like rice, wheat, corn, or something. The biostimulants is more. It is used on horticultural crops like fruits and vegetables. There are a lot of key companies in India as well as the global, like Valagro, Bayer, BASF. In India, UPL is one of the major player, followed by Rallies, then PA Industries. These are all some of the key players. They have a beautiful product catering to the market. So what could be the few concerns? Why it needs to be regulated? That is the one. Because it is mostly everybody feels that the government feels that most of the biostimulants have a certain kind of a pesticide or chemicals it is laced along with that, because there is no way of mechanism to regulate it earlier, and there is no way of test it and find it out. Even if you take the samples, if you test, they are getting confused. The enforcement agencies are getting confused whether it can be classified as a biofertilizer or it is a pesticide. There is no proper law for dealing with this kind of this kind of situations, and mostly it is branded as general, and it is laced with a lot of agrochemicals. That was the reason for that. And this is the emerging landscape, which I told mostly it is dominant. Currently, it is dominated by humic substances, fulvic acids and humic substances, followed by seaweed extract and vitamins and microbial amendments, and also certain things. It is a protein lysolates. Protein also is a part of the biostimulants. So when it started, what is the chronology of regulating these biostimulants? It happened in India. It started in 371st Registration Committee met on December 2016 by Government of India. They had a discussion how to initiate the regulating the biostimulant. Then there was a committee formed under Director General of Agriculture, ICEA. The committee has formed in 2018. Almost 2 years they have deliberated to form the committee. Then there was a subcommittee. There was a meeting held on 2018. Possibility under Insecticide Act 1968 or Fertilizer Control Order 1985. Then they have, after the deliberations, they have brought out into a draft guidelines under Fertilizer Control Order, not under Insecticide Act. And they have circulated the guidelines for stakeholder comments in October 2019. The guidelines, the draft guidelines are, it is available on the web. If anyone is interested, they can see how they have discussed, elaborated one. And there was a meeting called by the stakeholders. All the stakeholders were called by the Director General Agriculture, and they had a meeting in March 2020. After the deliberations, after the agreeing all the points, it has come as a regulations. It has come as a regulations, and it is notified through a Gazette order. It was on February 23rd, 2021. They brought a Gazette order with immediate effect. With immediate effect, the enforcement has come. And followed by, there is a lot of confusion is happened. They have given a time for provisional registration because already there are biostimulants in the market. It needs to be regulated. At the same time, the farmer should not face a problem for getting the biostimulant. So they have issued some subsequent notification in February 26, 2021. What could be the microbial colony forming unit count can be there on the live microbial combination of biostimulants. Then April 9th, 2001, formation of the Central Biostimulant Committee was formed in April only. And there is an extension of submission dates. There was initially, there are 2 times of the submission dates they have changed. That is also, it is in a respective government order has come out. And there are some clarifications. So some state government has asked, they have a problem to issue the G2 form. What are all the formats, we will go through it. And there is a clarification issued by the one of the division of agriculture department, that is the director of division of agriculture and family welfare, Government of India has issued a guidelines clarifications. So this is a Gazette order. This order may be called as a Fertilizer Amendment Order 2021 with effect from February 23rd, 2021. Okay. This order, it is one of the beautiful order, 18-page order. It have a complete definitions and guidelines, format, sampling procedures, everything it is there on this order. If anyone, if it is available on the web, anyone is interested, they can go through the complete order. So what is the general highlights of this order? There is a legislation through this order. There is a legislation is brought it into structure for regulating the biostimulants. There is a special category. It is not fertilizer, it is not a pesticide. So there is a biostimulant is a special category through this fertilizer control order. And there is a provisional registration as given, because all in a sudden you cannot remove the already existing material from the market. So the farmer is going to suffer it. So the government has very carefully considered to give a grant of a provisional registration. How this provisional registration? Let us go into see that. And also after the deliberation is the stakeholders, they also give a 2-year buffer period to grant the new biostimulant to include in the Schedule 6 of Fertilizer Control Order. There is a Schedule 6, there is a Form G is there. We have to provide the details to include it in the Schedule 6. And the registration taken care by the controller of fertilizer. It is in central government. He is the one take care of the registration. And the state government has to grant the sales permissions. Okay. Once you get the registration certificate from central government, and you have to, through this one, you have to apply to your respective state government to get a sales permission. And also in this order, they have given a clear sampling procedure. So suppose if the enforcement authority is coming and checking whether these biostimulants are having a proper quality as per laid out the norm, it is there or not, they have an authority to come and check the samples where it is stored in a godown or where it is a manufacturing one. They have a very laid out procedures. Suppose if it is a 5,000 packets, after that the same lot they have taking for 3 samples. If it is 5,000 to 10,000, they will take for 4 samples. If it is more than 10,000, they will take it for 5 samples. So this also clearly mentioned on this order. What is the procedure for sampling? They have mentioned in this order. So the state government, what is the role of the state government? The state government has to provide a certification as per G2 form. What is G2 form? We will see that. And there was I said that there was a lot of confusion is going how to issue the G2, the certificate, how it is issued. So there was a lot of confusions, and also what is the required data to include in the Schedule 6 of the Fertilizer Control Order. There was a confusion, so they give a provision. Provisional registration is ensure availability of such product present in that. That is the motive of government giving a provisional registration. So what is the biostimulant defined as per the order? It is clearly mentioned on the Gazette order. The biostimulants are substance or microorganism or a combination of both. It could be a separate one or it could be a combination of various factors, and whose primary functions when applied to plants, seeds or rhizosphere is to stimulate physiological process in plants and to enhance the nutrient uptake, growth, yield, nutrition efficiency, crop quality, and tolerance to stress, regardless of its nutrition. Overall, the biostimulants give the better yield, better nutritional quality, better, everything, the well-being of the overall, the well-being of the plant. That is the major one. But it does not include pesticide or plant growth regulators. Plant growth regulators also, there is a one coming under insecticides. It's a separate one. It regulate the plants. Like insecticides, we have a insect growth regulators. This is a plant growth regulators, which are regulated under Insecticide Act 1968. So what are all the different categories of biostimulants? There are different categories of biostimulants, and these could be either botanical extract from any botanical, any plant, any species of the plant, and including seaweed is one of the major source of a biostimulant nowadays. And there could be a biochemicals and protein hydrolysate. Mostly this protein hydrolysate coming from soy protein. There is a huge protein of that one. There is a vitamins, or it is a cell-free microbial product, or antioxidant, or anti-transparent, and humic and fulvic acid. These are all the natural minerals available from certain part of the world, and also their derivatives. So there are all the component categories of biostimulant. This is also defined in the order. So the biostimulant market in 2021, current biostimulant market globally is around $3.8 billion US. This is a category of biostimulants over the period of time. Suppose if you see the literatures published in 1951, the major biostimulants have made with the use of carboxylic fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acid. This was a major one during 1951. In 2004, slowly they moved into microorganisms and plant materials and humus and humus. This is the one natural minerals that was coming to the market. That was the made from this 2004 once it is coming. And 2007, the humic substances come more out of also the amino acids. That CVD extract also started to come from 2007 onwards. 2012, the same humic substances is coming, and there is a lot of complex organic materials. Then also CVD extract, free amino acids. This is coming to the market. The product with this combination is coming to the market. 2014, still the microbial inoculants is a more than humic acid, then fulvic acid, then protein isolates, CVD extracts. These are all the major components of the biostimulants. Then 2015, again it is a humic substances, then protein isolates, the CVD extract. The same thing it is continuing 2015, 2016, same humic substances, protein isolates, CVD extract. These are all the major one is a component of any biostimulants. So what is the effect of these biostimulants on the plant? So which we already discussed about the different categories. Overall, it should give a plant phenotypic effects. There are two ways of applying these biostimulants. Either it could be a granular form where you can broadcast into the plant, or it is a water soluble. You can do a soil drenching where it absorbs the one, or you can spray it on the foliar application. There are two ways of using the biostimulant, and it is supposed to give the effect of the roots and the shoot growth and higher yield parameters, improving flowering, everything. Overall well-being of the crop, it is supposed to do. At cellular level, it should increase the photosynthesis, and molecular level, it's having a stress related. It can help to combat a certain level of stress. So what is the key aspects of in this one? There is a form G. This is the first one. Form G is why it is used. The manufacturer, either you could be a manufacturer, also there is no restriction for you to import from other countries as a biostimulant, but you have to make an application to the control of fertilizer in Form G along with certain data, okay, to product specifying it is a biostimulant to be included in Schedule 6 of the Fertilizer Control Order. So the biostimulant specified in Schedule C shall be classified the same thing, any one of the following, or it could be a combination of either it is a botanical extract or seaweed extract, biochemicals, protein, hydroslate, vitamins, sulfuric, anything. It can be a combination, either single or it can be a combination of the one. It has to be filed. The Form G is the first form. It has to file to be included in the Schedule 6. So what is the guidelines for manufacturing and provisional, as we discussed? Why the provisional registration is given? The provisional registration is given already existing product. There is a clear-cut timeline was given by the government as per the order and subsequent order. They have given a provisional registration so that the material as of now, the available material, it should be kind of some registration. It's also some data requirement like heavy metal analysis or certain data to be provided so that this can be given a provisional registration by the controller of fertilizer controller as a controller of fertilizers to Form G3. They will be issuing this. The Form G3 is a provisional registration, and you have to get a Form G2 from the respective state government. That is mainly for sales permissions. And G1 is the one, the main application is the G1. We have to apply with all the data. What all the data we are going to see that one. And there is a product sales document. There is a criteria for what all the annexures, what all the documents you need to support when you are submitting a Form G1, G2 and all. And the provisional registration is given by the controller of fertilizers through Form G3. All these forms are clearly, laid out in the Gazette order. There is a Form G, the model is there. What is the what are all the things you are supposed to provide along with the forms. There is a clear-cut guidelines is there. And this is the Form G2, the checklist. You have to duly filled applications in the prescribed format. The format is there in the order. It should be signed by the authorized signatory. There is no need to sign either the chairman of the company or managing director of the company. Any person who is authorized to sign these applications as well as any hearings or anything, he is the authorized person. Through a affidavit, they will make an authorized signatory. And when submitting this form, you have to submit the sales report and GST. When you are sold, you have to provide a GST data for the last 3 years. What was your stock? What is the production? What is the trade? Other means what is the sales figure for the last 3 years? It should be duly verified by the chartered accountant. And these chartered accountant statement, you are submitting a self-attested paper with your signature. You have to submit that. And the label of the product is nothing but the brands. What are the brands? You may have more than one brand with a different brand name you have. That also you need to provide with the self-attestation. And you have to give a self-declaration, this biostimulant, which is not having any hazardous effect in anywhere or any international. If you have any, suppose you may be bringing a product from abroad, which is already registered in abroad, and it is having a certificate that it is a safe to use and everything, you can support, you can provide that one as a support for your biostimulant. And also, if you have any test report, definitely when they are registering in the abroad, they will have a lot of test report that also you can support along with the application you can give it. And that should be notarized by any public notary. You have to get it notarized on a stamp paper, usually 100 rupees non-judicial stamp paper, they get it notarized. And also the same name of the person or acceptance on the stamp paper. This is like making him as an authorized signatory. So that also it is required. That should be notarized by any public notary. And this document checklist, again, the form G2, we have to get it from the state government, and a copy of certificate incorporation. The company where you are applying, you have to get an incorporation certificate or your registration certificate, and a copy of the Aadhaar of the authorized. It is not required to produce Aadhaar of your company. You have to provide the Aadhaar of the authorized signatory, and his PAN number, you have to, his PAN card you have to provide, and also technical details of the product, the complete technical description, how it is made, what is the source of one, how it has been made, what process it has been made. You have to provide a note about the technical details of the product and the product labeled information. What is generally what you are going to declare it on the label, what is the compositions, what percentage it is there, what are the what, everything you are supposed to provide that. And also the sales document you have to provide. Based on that, the form G3 will be issued by the central government as a provisional registration. They will be issuing it. So the main part is the data requirement. See, why we need to generate a data. This data is a prerequisite or mandatory one. It should be included in Schedule 6 of the Fertilizer Control Order before submitting the one. That is the Schedule 6. It will come in the Form G. We have to provide certain test results. We have to provide that. So the first one is a chemistry study. This chemistry studies the source, that is a natural extracts of plant or microbial organic. We have to clearly mention the source of the biostimulant, the source of the like active ingredient or the source where it is, and the product specifications. These product specifications should be analyzed with any GLP, good laboratory practice, any GLP or NABL accredited lab. It is always, we have to do either any one of that, but not it is accepted by any general lab. Any general lab, it is not accepted. It should be either GLP or it should be a NABL. So when you are giving this product for analysis of the one, you have to check with your service provider. They have the GLP certification or NABL accreditation. You need to verify it, and it should be a physical and chemical practice of ungraded. And if you have used any adjuvants or that, you have to provide the complete details of the one. And what is the method of analysis? How they are analyzing these biostimulant? That also needs to be done. That any the labs they can provide the one. And the shelf life. Shelf life is nothing but what is the validity period of the product, how long it can be shelf without losing its characters, without losing its the specific properties of the biostimulant. And the second is also one of the major one, the bioefficacy trials. This bioefficacy trials is nothing like a product validation trial through agronomical practices. This is the major one, and it should be conducted either, the guidelines say that either it can be conducted through ICR Institute or state agriculture universities. See, there are in ICR, under ICR, there are all India coordinated project. There is a method wherein they take your material and they will try it in different states. Like if it is a maize, they can try it in Maharashtra, they can try it in Madhya Pradesh, they can try it in Karnataka. So these are all the places they know where to try that. This is the all India coordinated. You don't need to run around to state. If you can go through to one stop for conducting these trials, you can go to the nationalized one, that is the all India coordinated project, or you can go to the state agriculture university. It is always advisable to go to the state agriculture universities where there is a clear cut guidelines are there how to conduct the trials. They have a sufficient land research fields, and also they have a sufficient manpower, well-trained manpower. They can help you to conduct the studies. Before you entering into the you have to enter into an MOU with any state agriculture university. It is better not to go unrecognized private universities, agriculture universities. It is better not to go. It's better to always go with your respective state. And also the criteria is that it should be tried with minimum 3 different doses. The bioproduct, the stimulant should, you to test with 3 different doses for one full crop season. For one full crop season. Before you go for the trial, you know that what is your target crop, whether it is a horticultural crop, whether it is the fruits and vegetables, or it is a any field crops like rice or wheat or maize or whatever it is. Then you must be having in your mind where it is going to cater to the market, whether it is going to cater to the northern zone, whether it is going for eastern zone, or whether it is going for all India. Throughout India, you are planning for taking it to the product. So accordingly, you select the state agriculture university. Also, the major criteria is that it should be tried in 3 agroecological locations. There are 3 agroclimatic zones. So this trial has to be conducted. The product has to be tested. So in general, no agriculture university may not have a 3 agroecological sites, right? It could be of 1 or it could be of 2. It depends. So in that case, you have to check with the universities how many sites. This is the criteria. How many agroecological sites you have at once. So you may have to go for more than 1 agricultural university to conduct the trial, 1 or 2 or 3. It depends where you are going. So you have to that. So this is the major criteria, and it is nothing. You have to include your agronomist for conducting the trial. So it will be a very clear mechanism with agriculture universities. They will ask you to enter into an MOU, and they will ask you to specify there is a prescribed fees are there, and also you have to provide your material, sufficient material for conducting the trial, and periodically you can go and visit to the trial, see how the trial is progressing, everything, and at the end of the cycle, the cropping season, and it is always advisable. You should go in a main cropping season. You should not go for an off season. So that may not yield you the proper one. You should go with the main cropping season to conduct the trial. So once the trials are conducted, it is better always to take 2 copies of your trial results in the form of a report. They will provide you. You better to take 2 copies, and 1 hard copy you can submit it to the along with application. 1 you can store it for your file purpose. You can store it. So next, this is the toxicity. Toxicity also, it has to be conducted. Though there is no any toxic compound should be included or should be mixed with the as a biostimulant, but it has to be proved that it is safe for animals, it is safe for fish, it is safe for birds and honeybees and that. It has to be tested with certain guidelines. So first, name of the institute where you are going to conduct the studies. There are a lot of institutions, CLB as a GLP certified laboratories are there, or NABL accredited labs. They can do this kind of studies, national as well as for the private and public institutions are available. You have to name of the institute, and at the end of the one, they will give you a kind of a report, test reports. They will be with the recommendations they will give for that acute for the toxicity studies. There are 2 types of toxicity studies. One is acute toxicity studies and ecotoxicity studies. The acute toxicity studies are acute oral, the acute dermal, that is on rat, then acute inhalation studies, then primary skin irritation on rabbit, and eye irritation on rabbit. These 5 studies you have to conduct, and each studies is supported. There is a guidelines by OECD guidelines. For each studies, there is a guidelines. So that those who are going to conduct the study, like the accredited lab, they will take care of the guidelines. You have to tell them that this one, they know that this is a regular one. They used to do for any, pharmaceutical industries or anything, they are well aware of that. There is a well laid out system in India. They can conduct the studies. Even they specify what is the, what type of animal they have to use, or what species they have to use. Everything is clearly mentioned on that one. They will be conducting the studies. And ecotoxicity studies, they have to conduct a toxicity to birds. This product is non-toxic to birds. We have to prove that. And also toxicity studies to fish. It is on freshwater fish, not marine fish. It is to be a marine agent. And also there is a toxicity studies on honeybees to ensure that this product is safe for natural enemies. And also the toxicity studies on earthworm. This represents the soil organisms. This product, because it's mostly applied on the soil, it is no harmful effect to the soil microorganisms or soil living beings. So these are all the one. For each and everything, there is a clear-cut guidelines is given by this OECD. The reference which I have given that, so they can refer and they can go ahead for the studies. And unlike pesticide, we don't need to do a long-term chronic studies, because by basically there is no any pesticide is included in the one. So there is no need of going for a long-term chronic studies as is required by the pesticides. We don't need to go for that.
Dr. Karnan, if I may interrupt you, I'd like to add a point here.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, in the previous slide, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So at Zyirn, we do help our clients place the studies in reputed CROs, which are GLP compliant CROs. We are tied up with multiple institutions and CROs. So if you have any specific query placing the talks or talks, do reach out to us, and we will help you with the required process, the documentation services.
Yeah, thank you, Nimisha. They can get in directly touch with us for. So this also heavy metal analysis also we are supposed to conduct. We are supposed to include the results in the schedule 6. So it should not have any heavy metals. Even if it is having, there is a maximum limit as given by the order. It should not cross more than the prescribed maximum. For example, if it is a cadmium, it should not go more than 5 milligram per kilogram. If it is a zinc, the zinc is mostly considered as one of the micronutrients. So I think that is the reason they have given up to 1000 milligram per kg, but it should not go beyond that. You are always free to keep the limit less than the maximum limit, but it should not go more than that. So this is the major one. You have to provide a report. The same lab they can conduct and they can provide it. Nowadays, the lab, a single lab can take care of almost all the studies. There are labs available. You can find out and you can sign an MOU with them. And also, it is always suggested once you sign for conducting all these studies, you can ask them to put all that on a MS project. So the MS project will help you to to make it as a small task, and everything is a time bound. When you are agreeing for conducting, when you are giving a job work for this one, you are bound to get the results on time. So this will also give a kind of, your report, have a kind of update on a weekly basis or something. When they have to put it in the task in a, subtask, and when they are going to initiate the studies, when they are going to complete the studies, what is the success, everything. This particular software will help you very much. That is a very useful. You can consider to include. You can ask for the service provider. Can you please put it on the one on a MS project? That would be a very nice. And once the studies are completed, you can get the complete report on a specific recommendation, the format, everything. They have a very clear cut guidelines, and you can get the report, a hard copy of the report. And pesticide, of course, there should not be any trace of pesticide. But by chance, because a lot of biochemicals is used, synthetic chemicals or something is used, so the government has given a permissible limit is 0.01 ppm. Not more than that it should contain. It should be less than 0.01 ppm. So there is a role of making a committee for Central Biostimulant Committee. They will take care of this, whatever anything related to biostimulants. So they are the nodal body to address and given the guidelines for that. What are all the component of this one? The Agricultural Commissioner from Department of Agriculture and Family Welfare is the one. He is the chairperson of this committee, followed by Director General of Health Service or his authorized representative, Deputy Director General from ICER, and Deputy Director General from Crop Divisions, or Joint Secretary from Integrated Nutrition Management. He would be the official one. And there is a director from Central Fertilizer Quality Control Training Institute, and also authorized representative from Indian Institute of Toxicology Research. So they are the one of the major stakeholder for this, and also Deputy Secretary from the same INM, that is the Integrated Nutrition Management, the department from Department of Agriculture, the member secretary. So they are all the component, constitution of the Central Biostimulant Committee. What is the role of this Central Biostimulant Committee? The major role of this Central Biostimulant Committee is they will advise to the central government on the following issues: the inclusion of new biostimulant. Once we provide all the details, it will be thoroughly examined, and if they found it is having a merit to that, they will include as in their schedule, and they will recommend to the government it could be considered as a new biostimulant. And what they will also specify what all the various, it may, it is a dynamic mode, it may change with the different molecules or a different methodology it can come. So they will time to time, they will review and they can include what are all the various specification for various biostimulants. And the method of drawing, to ensure the quality, it has to be checked occasionally, it has to be checked randomly. The enforcement officer have a rights to go and, check your godown or your sales one. They have a well-laid sampling procedures, and they can go, they can take, and it has to be tested as per the procedure. Even the testing methodology is mentioned on that government order, so that it should not be any lapse or it should not having any ambiguity. Once the authority submit the results for any spurious or anything, it should not have any problem for that one. And what could be the testing methodology also it is mentioned. And any other matter, this will be referred to the committee by the central government. If anything comes to the central government notice, they will refer to that committee. Please look into that about these biostimulant queries. So that is a major role of the Central Biostimulant Committee. And what is the advantages of the new regulations? Why we should, what is the advantages we are going to have it? So in the absence of regulations and registration guidelines, it has been flooded with a lot of spurious during the past, very long time. It was flooded with spurious, and ultimately the farmers are going to get affected because he is not going to get a proper yield, and he could have spent a lot of money for using a spurious one without knowing. And even the enforcement authorities, even they find the samples spurious, they don't have a legislation to punish these companies. They could be a overnight flyers, they bring it and sell it in the market and they vanish. You will not be knowing. So this is the reason, and they felt it should be a guidelines for things so that ultimately the farmers will be benefited. And also this regulation will encourage the new product development. New product development, there are a lot of genuine peoples are there, a lot of genuine companies are there. They really want to bring a new product to the market with the new technologies. Lot of lot of partnership is happening in the market. Lot of foreign players are coming to India because India is a huge market, huge market. We have a huge fruits and vegetables, and it's a huge market. There is a good potential. They see that. So a lot of foreign multinational companies are coming in India to have a new technologies, to have a new combinations. There is all these new combinations, a new process. They want to have a patent for that process or something. It is the government is ensuring that there is a fair play in the market for bringing the new biostimulants. So everybody is going to be benefited, not only the manufacturer, ultimately the farmer is going to be benefited. And government also going to ensure that the required amount of food grain is produced based on these inputs. So what is the global position of biostimulants? I think European Union was the first to formally agreed upon for rules in 2018 as a stepping stone to create a functional regulatory framework. They are the first one to make that what especially this catering to only European market. They have put like a that is a certified mark, CE mark on the product. It is a safe to use. Why they were using it? It is mainly for sustainability of their produce, so that proper food the requirements is met. That is the major one. In India and Asia Pacific, the market is going very high. Why? Because there is a lot of things about organic farming. There is a lot of interest has come for organic farming. So this organic farming is a one new one. That is a parallel it is going on. There are a lot of product it is coming certified as organic. There is a lot of, there is a separate market. There is a niche market is there for organic farming. So that is the demand it's making to grow up this biostimulant market, especially in Asia Pacific regions. And the US Environmental Protection Agency also released a draft guidelines for biostimulants. But unlike European Union, the US does not have a very distinctive framework. That is the reason there is a lot of small confusion is there and slow ambiguity is there. There is in the US standard. But to avoid these claims, like we follow the European Union model, where the Indian requires a detailed specifications. What we have seen that detailed specifications, we need to get this as a biostimulant is analyzed properly, and it should meet the quality criteria. It should meet all the criteria as per the order. It has to be so that it will go for the proper registration. It ensure to the farmers. Yes, over to Nimisha. You can briefly summarize what services we can help for the claims.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Dr. Karnan, for such a great presentation on new regulations in India for biostimulants. It was really indeed very helpful to kind of understand the entire process for the application with respect to manufacturers and importers. Yeah, so with that said, some of our services that we provide at Zyirn include regulatory strategy for biostimulants and fertilizers. We have Dr. Kannan with us, who has about more than 3 decades of experience in this segment. We would also like to help our clients in areas of dossier data generation for plant metabolites and for genome editing crops. If the clients have any specific requirements for sourcing of gene and gene constructs, do reach out to us. We will be able to help you with the services in that segment. At the same time, we also help our clients with guidance for filing trademark, copyright registrations for sales. So if you have any specific query pertaining to agricultural sector, as a business, do reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with your business needs. And I would also like to reiterate a point that, most of the businesses do come to us to kind of place their studies for acute talks and eco talks in reputed GLP compliance CROs, in India and research institutes. So I would like to mention that we are tied up with reputed CROs, and if you have any specific requirement, do connect with us. You have our email IDs and phone numbers. Dr. Kremen, if you can just move on to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last concluding slide.
Yeah. So now, thank you for your participation. Now the forum is open for discussion.
Yes, the forum is open for discussion, and I would encourage the participants to kind of put up your queries, if you may have any, and we will answer those queries.
Yeah. Dr. Kannan.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm Dr. Prashant from Coromandel International Limited. It was a nice presentation. I need to have two more clarifications from you regarding the bioefficacy paid-up trials, regulatory bioefficacy trials. So many biostimulants are coming on the floor at a time. So SAUs are not able to take up in their respective campuses. So they are preferring to take under, in the contracted fields like farmers' field or in somewhere nearby villages. Are they accepted?
No, this is as long as it is coming under the state agriculture universities. So most probably, if they have their own research fields, you can insist them. You should be under the research fields, or they can have like a Krishi Vidya. There is a KVK and all. Krishi Vidya Kendra. They can have it in the KVK. But I think if it is coming under ICR institutions or state agricultural university, it is accepted that because it is giving, whether it is a farmers contracted fields, the university is going to contract with the farmers to take care of the trial. The university is going to the results as per the provisions. So I think it should be accepted to that. But you can insist with them any one of your research institutions or research trial area, they should conduct the trial. That they can try with that.
Okay. In fact, I was dealing with that. So I just want to clarify with that. And one more, what is the final date of submission? So it has been extended recently.
It has been extended as per the provision of registration. It is till February 2023 they have given. As per the earlier, it was August 2022. Again, it has given up to February 2023. That is the maximum time limit they have given it.
Yeah. So before that, we have to submit our dossier.
Yes.
So one more last question. So many companies are coming forward. So I think we don't have enough resources in India. What is your comment?
I feel we have enough resources. We can get. I am dealing with certain companies. We are interested to bring a new product to the market. We are already made a partnership with this one. There is enough resources are there, and agriculture universities are now well equipped to take care of the trials. There is no doubt that they have a beautiful, the system it is in the place. What I want to insist that they have a very clear-cut system into the place where they can take the trial of that one. So you may, which I said that if you are not finding a proper one, either from Andhra or Telangana, you can come to Tamil Nadu or you can go, because they need only 3 agroclimatic zones. They are not specified. If it is going to be marketed in Andhra, you have to do it in Andhra. No, anywhere you can, wherever you can, or you better you go with the All India coordinated projects, so wherein you can take the trial through them. That is a possible one. Yes, it is possible.
Right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Dr. Mohan.
Yeah, so I would like to mention, Dr. Prashant, that if you have any specific query, do reach out to us offline. We have a few questions coming up. The next one is Mr. Mohan, and then thereafter we'll give the lead to Dr. Kannan as well. So, Mr. Mohan, if you can just unmute yourself and please ask the questions that you have. Mr. Mohan, can you hear us?
Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. My question is, for a typical biostimulant product, I mean, let's say, for example, of microbial origin, how much would be the investment cost and how long is the timeline? Approximate. Take a typical example.
I may not able to tell you the exact cost of this one because it depends what is the source, what is the combination.
No, I'm only talking about the regulatory cost.
Regulatory cost for for conducting the studies and this one, sir.
Yeah, exactly. That was my question. What is the regulatory cost for a typical product and the timelines?
Yes, sir. I feel it should be almost, which I have a rough estimates around 20 lakh rupees, 15 to 20 lakh rupees for testing all this one. And the total timeline for registration, it may take you around 4 years of time. It may take you to register a new product. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Mohan. I will give the lead to Dr. Kannan.
Okay. So good evening, sir. Thank you very much for your informative presentation. So myself, we have a couple of products when compared to biostimulant. So most of people, they are using only generic molecule, for example, seaweed and humic acid. So as far as the toxicology study is concerned, already the people have published, especially on humic acid. Shall we use for that our toxicology registration and all, that same data? If possible, we can use it for the same data for our research.
Yeah, you can provide it. You can suppose what is the past data you have it. If the same compound, if the same source you use it, you can submit the data. You can seek the same thing it is used already. This has been submitted with that. The same thing it is possible to provide it to the regulators to ask them for the exemption of these studies. You can ask them for that. Yes, it is possible.
Okay. So, yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kannan. I will now move on to the chat box. We have a few questions showing up here. The first one is from Ms. Jyoti. She has a question saying that while conducting tox studies by the CRO, how much amount of biostimulant needs to be retained in the archives and for how long? That is, what should be the duration for retention in the archives?
I don't know exact quantity, how much it needs to be carefully checked with that, but there is a prescribed quantity. There is a very much prescribed quantity, like 3 packets or 4 packets or something. There is a prescribed quantity you should retain in your one, because it will be rechecked. If there is any dispute or anything, it is coming, you have to go back to the control sample. We call it as a control sample. This control sample has to be go back and you. But there is a guideline. It should be, maybe I can find out. I can tell you in the direct message. I can find out and tell you. Yes, please.
All right. So next question we have in line is from Dr. Pratibha. I think it's the same question she has, like pretty much on the same lines, like how much amount of test substance need to be archived. Because in our SOP, we mentioned 1 mg in case we receive very less quantity. Dr. Pratibha, if I can request you to just unmute yourself and be more specific with your question, I think that would be great. Dr. Pratibha, can you hear us? You are mute if you can hear us.
Yeah, in our SOP, we have mentioned 1 mg. Minimum is 1 mg for archival. If it is less than that, or if we receive 5 mg, in that case, how much we can retain?
Yeah, that maybe I can check and get back to you, please.
Okay, thank you.
So Dr. Pratibha will connect with you offline and will, interact on that particular query. Okay?
Okay, yeah, thank
you. So we move on to the next question, which is from Mr. Venkana. For ecotox studies, especially for fish studies, we need to do dose analysis. For that, we need reference standard. Is it the reference standard available? Is there any reference standard available in biostimulants? Is what he's asking.
I think it should be as per the guide, that should be there already. It is a established one. That should be with the consent CRO or consent lab. There should be a standard. It should be available with them. You have to check with them. Definitely, it is available. There's a standard because the same even for transgenic crops initially that has been asked to do it in studies on freshwater. So there was a standard. Very much it is there. So definitely there is a standard in that. Yeah, maybe we can check with the Central Inland Fisheries Institute or something who are nodal bodies for conducting this kind of a study. So they must be having a standard for that.
Right. Thanks, Dr. Daman. We move on to the next question from Dr. Manta. So he has a question regarding before submitting for regulatory bodies, is there any central mechanism for clearing the product? How the farmers, the end users are informed about these regulations and the use of product?
Registration is provided by the central government. There is a controller of fertilizer is supposed to issue the registration of the product. So they are the central. Can you please repeat the question once again, Nimisha?
Yes. So he has a specific query before submitting to the regulatory bodies. Is there any central mechanism for clearing the product?
No. This is it has to follow the same procedure to get it cleared. There is no prayer to that. It has to be followed the same procedure with the form G, G1, G2, and that is the procedure to follow that.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, I have written that question. It's because the rules are almost parallel to the biologics. I see that one. In biologics, what we do is each product, each batch of the product is sent to the central laboratory where it is cleared, and then we submit it to the regulatory. So is there such mechanism for also for this biostimulants?
But as per that order, it is not clearly mentioned. So maybe we have to carefully go through with the one once again to find out. As per this the Gazette order, it is not clearly mentioned that you have to like biological. It has to go through prior to get that one. It is not there in that order.
Yeah, internally you get it tested with your third party. That's okay. That's internal. Yeah. But there is a central mechanism where they clear each batch of the product. So that's what happens in the pharma and especially biologicals. So
okay,
that's
okay. But it is not as per this order. There is no pre-request of that one. Is there, sir? Okay. There is not there in that order.
Okay, great. Yeah. So about what about the next one? Like I mean, it's a general one. Like how the farmers are get to know about the new biostimulants and what is coming to the market. Is there any what you call awareness program conducted
by the respective companies, sir? That it should be conducted by the respective companies when they are going to bring a new product to the market. They publish, and also they have a demonstration form. So they will have a demonstration of this new product with the different crops with the different zones. So that is a regular marketing strategy employed by these companies to promote that one, advertisement and social media. Everything it is there nowadays. So that farmer is well aware of that. There are a lot of now the aggregators are there, like a lot of service providers for agriculture. They also aware of this one. They also suggest and they can introduce this one to the farmers. The farmer is slowly getting aware about what is the product it is coming to the market. It is very much now the awareness is very good when compared to last 5 years or 10 years. So now it is very good with the farmers awareness coming a new product. And it is the primary responsibility of the company who is going to introduce the product to the market. They will have their strategy to introduce to this material to the farmers. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Martin, for the question. And we move on to the next one by Partha Sarthi. So he has a question: do we need NBA clearance for formulating and marketing microbial and seaweed-based bioproducts? Do we need
there is a very critical question, sir. When you are going to MBA, there is a clear-cut guidelines for Indian companies that is doesn't require for access to biological product. Okay, but there are companies or multinational companies. You have to get a Form 1 for getting a NBA clearance for access to the biological material. Whatever it is, you are supposed to get a approval from the NBA for this one. So ultimately, when you are going for commercialization, there is a provision. It is that you have to get a NBA approval. If you are using the natural resources like biological resources, you have to get the NBA approval. There is a separate procedure, separate one, which definitely we can guide you to get the NBA approval for this. Yes.
And he also has an additional question which says, is there any specific guidelines for label expansion of crops within these regulations?
No, in these regulations, they are not specifically mentioned anything about the labeling. There could be a guidelines separate. It is that we have to find it out from that. But as per the order, there is no, because it is a broadly, it has covered the broad aspects of the regulations. It is not there about the labeling. It is not anything about the labeling. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Kannan. We have one more question from Dr. Prashant. With respect to brand names of each product, the data generated for each product cannot be used for the same product sold under another brand name. Please clarify. Yeah, that's the question he asked. Like, with respect to the brand names for each of each product, the data generated for each product cannot be used for the same product which is sold under another.
Exactly. Exactly. You should have a one product name. There could be a combination, different combination of different brands. You are not going to brand the same one, the same combination of biostimulants that is the same one for a different brand name. No, you will not be doing that, because definitely you cannot get approval for that. You will have a brand name for this combination. So brand A is having this combination, brand B is having a different combination. So you need to give a separate data requirement for that. It should be a separate one, not the clubbed one. No. It should be given a separate one.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Kannan has a very specific query. Dr. Kannan, if you can, explain the query to Dr. Kannan, he will be able to address it.
So directly you can message to us. So we will help you to understand.
So just like I'll just read out his kind of comment in the chat box. Dr. Kannan, if you want to take a lead on that.
Yeah, please. Sir.
Sir, actually, we had submitted a product for the issue of Form G3 to the Central Biostimulant Committee.
Okay.
And the thing is that they are scrutinizing still the product, and they have not come to a conclusion is what our communique in the particular department is telling to us. Okay. So what would be the particular timeline that we can get a clarity about the issue of Form G3 of our product, sir?
Sir, there is no guidance. There is no time frame with the government for to accept and provide you a G3 for registration. Maybe you have to pursue with them. You have to you have to convince them what is the clarity they are asking it. You have to convince them to get that. There is no any. This is the like any one. It should be given within a 1 month or 2 months. So there is no that. Maybe once the committee join for the meeting, they will discuss it. Then they will be taking up the next one. Maybe individually you have to approach them. So there could be what is the why it is being held. You have to check with them to seek, and or you need to support to your evidence to more that to check and to get that things done. There is no any time frame is mentioned on this order, sir. No, there is no any time frame.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dr. Kannan, I would like to add that, we can take this discussion offline. If you have any specific requirement that we want us to help you with this, we can take this offline. Please do connect with us, right? We'll try and help you in this regard. Yeah. So we move on to the next question, which is the last question in this chat box. What vehicle to be used for formulation? Only water or any other can be used. If other vehicle apart from water, can that be used during application process? Yeah.
I'm not able to tell you the production, or maybe you're some chemical engineer or something. Sorry, I don't know.
So
if Dr. Imran is there, he could have answered this question.
Yeah. So I think Dr. Imran is not with us here today because of family emergency, but we will get back to you with this, query, and we'll circle back on this.
Yeah, that we can help you with the help of Dr. Imran.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the last question here is from Mr. Venkana. Are all biostimulants safe? Which is a very interesting question. Yeah.
We are ensuring that it is safe through way of conducting this much test and this much procedures. We are ensuring that it is safe for environment, it is safe for human, it is safe for the crop. Yes, that we have to go with that. It is considered to be a safe. That is the reason we are doing this much studies to ensure that it is a safe, right? All the toxicological studies, all the economic studies, everything it is to ensure that it is a safe to the environment It is safe to the animal. It is safe to the crop. Yes, it is.
Right. So I'm moving on to YouTube chat box. There's one question in YouTube chat box, which is from Dr. Ansari. Is it compulsory to perform dose formulation analysis in birds' acute toxicity test?
Yes. Yes.
Right. That is the question we have in our YouTube chat box. And any more questions, please feel to ask. This is very interactive session and it's really helpful to all people. Yeah, so there's one more from Dr. Pratibha. I think she's responding to the query earlier. Water or CMC can be used as per the sponsor. Yeah, so she is responding to the query put up
Great.
by Korshelvan. Yeah, Mr. Korshelvan. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but yeah, okay. So do we have any more queries? Please do come forward and discuss it out. And I would encourage people to kind of, connect with us offline. If there are more specific business queries, do connect with us. Yeah. Do we have any more queries? Anyone from the audience, please? All right, so I guess we can conclude, Dr. Kannan. Thanks once again for this wonderful, presentation and insight on new regulations in India for biostimulants. It was very helpful. And do connect with us on LinkedIn and stay updated with all the latest news in this segment. I wish you all a great evening and a very nice weekend. All right, so I think with that said, we will conclude this session and we look forward to have you all on our future webinars. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all for the wonderful questions. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jyoti. Thanks, Dr. Pratibha. Nice to have you all here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.